All right, America, it's time for the Ringside Wranglers Wrestling Report with your hosts, Haz-Bin and Jack Jaw.
What's up, wrestling fans? A little technical difficulties, but we're back. I'm Jack Jaw. This is Haz-Bin. We are the Ringside Wranglers. We have a special guest this week before we hit the news from the WWE, AEW, but we're hitting the indies first. We got a special guest. Is none other than Timothy Theory from Halifax, Nova Scotia. What's going on, Timothy?
Doing the two things a day is cool because it reminds you like what these wrestlers go through when they have to, especially with the pandemic, they're having to wrestle twice. You notice, and people like Cesaro did it on SmackDown Friday. You're having to wrestle 2 times in one show. Sheamus did it because they don't have a lot of people that want to work the pandemic, so they're having to wrestle twice. And if you talk to wrestlers, they'll tell you that it's hard to cool your body down and rev it back up again. And we don't have to go through that trouble, but now you kind of have a respect for exactly how difficult it is to do a twofer, if you will, a double shot.
Man, I was supposed to be wrestling in Havana, Cuba, actually in April, but because of the coronavirus, it got put on hold. You know, I gotta wait till the fall. I gotta wait until, we go back. So it's gonna be interesting to see how that one goes down. It's gonna be the first wrestling show in Cuba in years. So, like, it's a big honor to be a part of that. I've been wrestling for ECPW and just trying to make my way out there, branch out, and get to different promotions. I'm used to wrestling on the East Coast, but I'm looking to get out there and branch out a little bit, make my way out on the other side of the country and other side of the world. So I got to open up for Snoop Dogg with my music project, which is something that's really cool. Seeing a wrestler in Tim Theory, future Hall of Famer, open up for a current Hall of Famer and Snoop Dogg. So that was cool.
That is cool. So it's almost like you could almost say you're like Fozzy with his little gig going on. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, Chris Jericho. That's right. That's what I'm saying, though. There's a lot of wrestlers that are also involved in music, and it's interesting to see. I actually put on my own rock and wrestling show before out in Strasburg, Pennsylvania, at a venue called the Sherman Theater, which was I was in a band at the time. I did hardcore death metal type stuff, and we ended up doing this rock and wrestling show, and basically we had a couple bands on there, a couple rappers. It was a good time. So
that's cool. Well, tell us about the picture we're seeing right here. What's up with this?
Oh yeah, so we did a little photo shoot. Actually, it was me, my girl, and her friend that's a professional photographer. She wanted to get some better pictures of me. The one you had before with the bandana and all that, that was just something I was taking at a show. But now I'm getting more professionally done pictures. So that way I have better promotional pictures to put out there on posters and 8x10s and shirts. I've been trimming down, losing a lot of weight. I'm like 200 pounds right now, cutting up, got 6-pack abs and everything. I'm trying to get in the best shape I can be. Trying to go for the WWE this year and just trying to do the best I can for all the fans and supporters who've been following me since day one. So
we're following you now. So we've been following. I don't know why I fell on ECPW Facebook, several months back, and I started looking at the YouTubes they post there. I mean, the videos they post up there. They got some good legendary wrestlers that make their way through that organization. So it's pretty good stuff to watch.
Cut you off. That picture on the screen right there actually is from the Rock and Wrestling show I put on. That was a pretty cool show. We had not even a month to put together. Well, actually, I had not even a month to put together. I booked the bands, the rappers, the wrestlers, and we all came out to the ring, had the little entrance videos playing in the background. I actually came out to perform one of my songs with my band at the time, and I fun. My nana was there. She's not like in the or anything like that, but she stayed, was hearing me rock out and all that, so that was cool. And I feel like what you were saying before, ECPW, actually legends and Hall of Famers coming through. I've wrestled so many of them, at ECPW actually, Break the Hammer Valentine, the Honky Tonk Man, Bruce Sabara Beat, the Nasty Boys, Tito Santana, New Jack and Mustafa, the Gang, their first match back, tagging after 20 years. I wrestled Alpha Jr., a.k.a. Manu from WWE. He was in the Legacy. I've wrestled. There's a list. The list goes on. I'm trying to think. Oh, the Powers of Pain, Warlord and Barbarian. Well, so there's like so many different legends and Hall of Famers I got the privilege to step in the ring with, and I learned a little something from each and every one of them. And every match, I take something away from that, so it makes me stronger, a little bit more methodical and tactical in my offense. So that's always good.
No doubt. I mean, that's pretty exciting. I saw some of those names you listed there on the ECPW. Haz-Bin is our in-house wrestling connoisseur of the oldest wrestling trivia you could ever imagine. This guy will tell you. We were just trying to figure out a name of somebody, and it gave him a few seconds. He figured the name out. So what are you thinking, Haz-Bin?
I appreciate Tim being on, first of all. And Tim, I like the fact that during this pandemic, everyone's facing the same thing, but you right off the bat, you do some other things you could go to. For example, it's no secret that wrestling and music have a great connection because the fact it goes back to and this is well before the Hulk Hogan rock and wrestling thing in the 80s and all. I mean, this is because they're entertainers. Everything is entertained. Everything, it goes by a list, and it just, you feel the energy of the crowd. So it makes, I'm not surprised at all that you're mentioning that music and wrestling go so well together. And I appreciate the fact that during this time off in this pandemic, like when most people get hurt with an injury, they would use that time to like come back and they reinvent themselves. They become back stronger and harder and faster, kind of like the $6 million man, or if you will. And I'm just very impressed by everything that you're doing right now. You're setting yourself up for whatever success you had before. You're going to probably quadruple that once all this stuff gets back and running. And that's very admirable on your part to do that.
Oh, thank you. That's another thing too. Actually, like there's a couple videos I'm working on that are going to incorporate wrestling with the music. But I actually just saw a couple clips, a couple guys I forgot to mention, Tony Atlas and the Patriot. Those are some of the first legends and Hall of Famers I got to step in the ring with. And they put me to the test. And I had fun wrestling them. I kind of represent Canada, so when I go out there and wrestle somebody like Mr. USA, Tony Atlas, or the Patriot, it's like the crowd hates me so much, but I honestly get a kick out of it. And what we were saying before, during the quarantine, I've been doing a lot of music, and I've been doing a lot of P90X workouts live on Facebook to try to get people encouraged and not just sit around watch like TV or Facebook or games. I want to get people to be active and kind of promote a positive physical, fit lifestyle. So that's my preparation. I wasn't trying to sit around and put on weight, just feel bad, like all quarantine or just, slack. I wanted to make sure that I was ready to train. I'm actually ready to come back now. There's people that are
yeah. That's all right. We were just saying that that's pretty good. It's got a lot of stuff going on. We had an indie guy on this morning that he's got 2 shows coming up next week. So we're excited to see some stuff coming back online. I'm not sure where I saw that post for you. Somebody hopefully thinking that Timothy Theory is coming on with them, but it said coming to CWA and CCW, and it looked like you had a match. It looked like, the way it read online, that you had a match next Wednesday, and it says Timothy Theory makes his debut. So we were like, dang, I guess he's all over the place. So I guess that's one of your flag matches right there.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, there's a couple flag matches I did on ECPW. That there was me versus Tony Atlas right there. It was one of the clips I saw. There was me versus the Patriot. I've wrestled him so many times. Flag matches every time, and there were a lot of those flag matches where I got this close to winning the match, but I'm not gonna say it, but they kind of used some dirty tactics to win the match, put me down. But it's all right, because next time I know the tricks they use.
Okay, Tim, I want to ask you a question. We were trying to get you back on next week, but thank goodness we were able to get you on now. Being a Canadian superstar, right? Obviously, the Hart family, that's a guarantee. The Hart dynasty, everyone in the country kind of, in my opinion, is going to support the Harts, and they're going to be very big fans of the Hart family. I understand that. But I would like to get your thoughts on, do you have any other Canadian superstars whom you may have admired and try and go after their style? For example, like Pat Patterson or Edge Christian or KO or Sami Zayn.
Edge Christian, definitely Bret Hart. I was definitely a big Bret Hart fan. You know, I feel like Chris Jericho. You know, he's another one.
See, I can't believe I forgot about him. I would have slapped myself in the face for that.
Chris Jericho, what's wrong?
You know, Bret Hart, though. I'm a big Bret Hart fan. I got, hold up, my little office right here. I got him up in the corner. You know, got a couple little things here and there. But, yeah, you know, I was a big fan of Owen Hart, Bret Hart. You know, obviously, like you were saying, you know, it's a big part of my life as a kid, seeing the Hart Foundation on TV every Monday night and, you know, just on TV, just whenever they be on. I'm a big fan of Canadian wrestling. Actually, you know what? Mike Sharp, Iron Mike Sharp. Can't forget about him.
Yep.
Let's see. Canadian wrestlers. Who else?
Dino Bravo.
Dino Bravo, yeah, true. You see the Dark Side of the Ring episode? About
Yeah, I did.
Pretty interesting, actually. Who am I forgetting right now?
Now there's so many, man. We'd have to do some research because I feel bad that I forgot about Jericho. That's why I feel stupid with that because he's one of the biggest superstars in the country right now.
Right. Yeah,
but yeah, there's just
fan too.
Yeah.
Christian, real cool. I like. Oh, wait a minute. Nah, hold on. He's not Canadian. Man. I like Petey Williams too. You know, Team Canada. He's cool. Who else? I mean, I like women's wrestlers too. Isn't Gail Kim Canadian too, or she's from Canada?
Yeah. And Trish Stratus.
You know, yeah. NATALYA, obviously, Die Hard.
See, that's the thing. Just with all due respect to the Hart family, the Hart dynasty, they when you think of Canadian wrestling in the States, obviously Hart family, and rightfully so. But man, there's so many other people like Iron Mike Sharp you mentioned, and Jericho, and guys like that, and even the ladies like Trish Stratus and such, and Gail Kim. I mean, there's a lot of great talent in Canada. It's just, for whatever, all due respect, I mean, it's just the Hart family. They made and broke that country, and all due respect, that's how it goes. Yeah. So that's why we're sitting there trying to scratch our heads, thinking of some other names, because you can name every person in the Hart family, and they're all top quality Hall of Famers.
If you got, I don't know if Teddy Hart is out there. I want to challenge Teddy Hart to a rap battle. I heard he raps. I have no idea. Somebody was trying to tell me he raps. I want to do a freestyle battle rap. Me versus Teddy Hart. You know, I think it'd be funny.
I'd pay to see that.
Right? Why not?
Yeah, why not?
I'm putting it out there. Tim Theory versus Teddy Hart. You know, rap battle. Why not?
Yeah. So do you keep up with WWE and AEW?
You know, I like it. I like what they're doing. I haven't necessarily been able to tune in because, you know, I'm either working out or doing things to try to like work on my career. Sometimes like I miss it, but I try to tune in and check out here and there, see clips if I hear something that's going on, or if I see, you know, there's people that I actually came up with when I was, you know, training at ECPW. Sonny Kiss, actually, he's in AEW right now. He came from ECPW. They actually also had. Did you hear about Dustin Thomas, the guy that had his legs? They got the amputee, right? He was the guy in AEW on the pay-per-view. Before they had what was their pay-per-view called? They had All Out.
Was Double or Nothing.
No, the first one they did before it was AEW, I guess, right?
Oh yeah.
That little battle royal they had, and he was he was the guy that did the 450, the amputee that did the 450. He came from ECPW too, you know, and it's cool to see these guys get out there and, you know, get a chance to get a shot to be, you know, on the national level. So that's what's up. I like to, if I see guys that I know getting a chance or put in a big match, I'll tune in and check them out. And, you know, I'm for the most part, I try to focus on. I got so much music stuff I'm doing and trying to get in shape and do all this stuff for like my own matches from over the years that I have years worth of matches of my own that I haven't had a chance to upload or edit. So, you know, I'll be getting all that stuff squared away. And I mean, when I try to get a chance to tune in, I'll tune in. But, you know, it's, as a matter of fact, Ace Austin, man, Impact Wrestling, you know him?
Yep.
Yeah, he's not from ECPW, but that's actually where I met him. He was wrestling out there on our TV show. And, you know, he's the X Division champion out there, youngest X Division champion, I believe. And he's trying to go for the Impact Heavyweight Championship. if he wins that, he'll be the youngest Impact champion. So maybe one day me and him will get to lock horns and tie up out there too. That's another guy I want to wrestle. My buddy, actually, I'm training with at the Team Adams, Damian Adams Pro Wrestling School, Ray Jazz. He got to wrestle on 205 Live against Jack Gallagher, so that was cool to see him on there. And that's another guy I want to wrestle when I come back, you know. And I'm trying to go out there and put myself to the test with other people who are out there trying to put themselves to the test.
Yeah,
so, you know,
it sounds like you follow it more than you say so. You got it.
Yeah, I mean, like when I hear about like my friends out there, they're like getting big shots and opportunities. I'm like, oh, definitely, I want to tune in for that. You know, like when I was younger, I used to watch every Monday night. You know, especially my brothers were on the TV and all that. But you know, it gets kind of hard to like make time for it when you're busy and stuff. So I'm more so focused on getting myself to that level. So
I'm with you.
That's pretty much where I'm at.
Follow it. Well, any other thing you want to talk about? We know we don't want to keep you on if you don't want to. We're just running down the news right now. We hit the SmackDown show. You came back right at the right time.
All right, yeah. Before, I don't know, everything was cutting out. I couldn't hear what my man was asking me before. Hack, he was saying, or Haz-Bin, sorry. He was asking something I couldn't really hear. He was like asking my thoughts on something, but it was like cutting out. I was gonna see if like you can ask the question again because
that's what it was, Tim. We wanted to try and get you back on because we wanted to get your thoughts on like who were your influences in Canada, despite the Hart family, and you went through all of us, so we appreciate that. You know, Canada's another one. We every week we have independent superstars come on. We talk about all the different places that you wrestle, the States and Mexico and the UK and Japan. You can't forget about Canada because they've got a whole plethora of talent that come from our neighbor from up north.
That's right. You know, and yeah, I'm a big Hart Foundation fan. Always have been, always will be. You know, and Bret Hart, he was my favorite wrestler as a kid. You know, I swore by Bret Hart. You know, the message he put out there, being a wholesome like role model for the kids. When in America at the time, it was like all about that whole Jerry Springer, just nonsense, like crude language and just all this like stuff that you really shouldn't be showing kids. And I like how Bret Hart was just trying to be like a wholesome, wrestler, just keeping things, like setting the example for the kids. That's what I'm trying to do now during the quarantine, just getting myself, in the best shape I could be, trying to get the kids to, not be like in America. Obesity is a big problem. There's so many people that are overweight and they don't necessarily know what they're doing. So I try to go out there and put an example out there. Don't be stuck in a cycle of playing video games and watch TV and scroll Netflix. I'm trying to get them to get out there and live and let their dreams become reality. I
always thought that with Hulk Hogan in the United States would be the role model, the face of the country. Say your prayers, take your vitamins, eat your vegetables. Well, up in Canada, I thought Bret Hart played that role.
Well, that's right. Bret the Hitman Hart. Hulk Hogan, he's real controversial. I'll leave it at that for him. But Bret the Hitman Hart, after all these years, he's still, he's a straight shooter when he talks. He just speaks his mind. He's not gonna cut corners. He's not gonna, sugarcoat things. He'll tell people what he thinks and keep it real. And that's why I like Bret Hart. He's always been that way, and he's a good example for the kids. And at the same time, I like guys like I was saying, Edge. I like guys like Chris Jericho, Vampiro. How am I forgetting about Vampiro, man?
Vampiro.
Vampiro, man. Vampiro. That's why I was like, wait a minute, I know I'm forgetting somebody. Vampiro, man. He's the vampire from Canada that went to Mexico.
We love Vampiro. The whole gimmick with Oklahoma Ed Ferreira, Steve Dr. Duff Williams. I mean, God, we could talk about that for hours. That is so great. We love that guy.
Too, man.
Jerry Only, the Misfits. Good Lord, man, that was great.
He was with ICP and WCW. He was with the Misfits, and then it was just bigger, larger than life. And then he got to do that thing with Sting. He set Sting on fire and threw him off the top of the Turnatron. That was insane.
Yep.
That was cool. The whole graveyard match they did out there, that was cool. And I like how with Vampiro, he became a guardian angel. You know that, right? Like the guardian angels, they would walk through the worst neighborhoods and all the gang activity and drug dealing. They would go out there and try to be a force of positivity and, just safety for people that are like feeling scared, and I like how he was able to do that and, be out there for the people who don't have anybody out there for them. When I first joined wrestling, actually doing the JCW tryouts, I did the first tryout with Madman Pondo, and I didn't make it then, but I came back the next year. I did it again when Vampiro was running it with the Ring Riders, who was also known as Ohio versus Everybody in Impact Wrestling right now, Dave and Jake Chris. So they were in charge of the JCW tryout boot camp. And we were out there. It was Cave Rock, Illinois, Hog Rock, where they did the Hells Angels biker rallies and stuff like that. We were out there in the middle of July in the heat. Like, it had to have been like, it was hot. I don't know what temperature it was, but it was hot. The summertime, like middle of summer. And we were out there doing Hindu squats. And outside the ring, we were out there doing like, warm-ups, drills, everything. And Vampiro was like, all right, well, we're going to show you how to, do certain things here and see where your skill levels are at. And we're going to try to put together this little match for, the whole JCW Bloody Mania pay-per-view they were doing that year. And I made my debut on JCW's Bloody Mania that year it's like 2012, actually. And I got to learn a lot. And there was a lot of legends backstage. The Rock and Roll Express were back there. Matt Hardy was there. Shane Helms. Gregory Helms. Mm-hmm. Hurricane,
Yep.
Scott Steiner, actually, I thought Scott Steiner was about to beat me up. Actually, he was like, I was like, "Hey, good luck with your match. I can't wait to see your match." And he's like, "What?" It was actually, I thought it was him versus Vader, but they switched the match to it was Vader and Scott Steiner versus two independent guys. I want to say one of them, I could be wrong, but I want to say one of them I just saw on AEW actually recently. I might have to like double check and see. But I'm pretty sure he was one of the guys that, man, Scott Steiner and Vader beat the crap out of these kids, man. I was watching from backstage. I was like, yo. And even the wrestlers, they're all like gathered around like little TV monitors in the back. I mean, we're outside. This is all like kind of set up for a festival. We were all outside watching on the screens, and like all the boys were just sitting back like, oh, and man, I'm going to have to like post that match because that was – it was a doozy, but it was cool getting to meet all these legends and get to pick their brains a little bit. And, Vampiro, he used to call me Spider-Man because I was all over the place, there, flying everywhere. He's like, yo, Spidey, So, yeah, that was cool, man. Like, I really, it really set me into, like, into motion for wrestling. I was like, you know what? He was telling me, there's going to be a lot of people out there that they're going to want to try to open wrestling school, like, try to say that they can train you how to be a wrestler, but you're going to want to know where they have been and what opportunities they can give you, because a lot of people are just out there to try to take your money. So I got to take that away from Vampiro, and still to this day, I remember it, and it helps me when I go out there and people are trying to put you on shows or trying to promise you this or that.
Yeah,
you got to always try to look out for yourself in wrestling. It's not going to be anybody out there that's going to do that for you, especially on the independent level, or when you're out there on your own, when, it's like a Shark Tank, people could be really, backstabbing and out for themselves. But I look at things in a more positive light because I keep myself busy and I do a lot of things, not only in wrestling, but in music. So, either way, I'm going to do a lot of big things, and I want people to, be inspired by that because, you can do anything you set your mind to. And don't let anybody tell you that.
Tim, you definitely have been a great guest. I like your angles on being that good role model. So many people today, we see the independent world, it's just they're not as well rounded as you come off being. We appreciate you being on the show, and definitely keep up the good work with putting your stuff on YouTube. Because when I reach out to different people, it's crazy how they'll have just one little post that they're wrestling here, and I can't really find enough content to justify them coming on the show or talking with them. You had so much stuff, and I was happy to see it. And I wish our little connections worked better a little bit, because we'd love to talk through videos on here. When you were able to throw out there, oh, that's when that happened. Oh, that's when that happened. That's pretty cool. So we'd like to have you back on, especially when you have a confirmed date of when you're going to be wrestling. we'd love to have that. We're going to be following you. We're going to be posting your stuff on our place. We'll be pitching you every step of the way. Again, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me, man.
All right, man. What we're going to do is we're going to roll back onto the news. Talk to you later, Tim.
Hey, you guys.
Thank you, Tim.
See you guys out there. And I want to, before we end this, too, I want to show you guys the Theory versus the World shirt right here. You can get this on Pro Wrestling Tees. I got a Pro Wrestling Tees store. I got the More Street Movement shirts. There's only a few left. You can contact me on Facebook for those. You know, I'm actually going to have a couple of my matches from the NWA while wrestling for the NWA. Those will be getting put up on my YouTube channel soon, as well as my match against Tito Santana. That's actually going to be on ECPW's TV this week. So I'm going to get that match. And
Nice.
I'll go to my channel too. So that's going to be another one. And I was kind of like, pressed for time with getting things out, meeting deadlines. So if anything, definitely want to do a follow-up on these. I'll make sure my internet connection and all that's taken care of this time around. And, I'll have some more shows and stuff to put out there and show the crowd and show you guys. So you can play through it. We can go over. Actually, there's a couple funny videos that we can talk about that I feel like, we can do a little bit of commentary over it. I think you guys would enjoy. So
Nice.
we can do that.
That'd be fun. I'll be reaching back out to you. Thanks again, Tim.
Thank you guys for having me. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you, Tim.
All right, what we're going to do is we're going to drop to the top of the news. We're going to go to WWE, typical rundown of Raw, NXT, SmackDown, this week's Raw. The fans are now introduced into the studio.
Yeah, thank you, AEW. Appreciate that.
I tell you what, they copied AEW, but I'm telling you right now, it did not come off as good as AEW fans. That whole plexiglass thing, it's like that didn't really roll out too well. That was kind of weak, I thought. What'd you think?
Kind of makes me feel like I'm going to the zoo. Like I'm going to the zoo and watching the animals. I swear, it's exactly what it feels like. And I'm not being rude about it. I'm just saying it's what it feels like.
Yeah, but it was kind of entertaining. Kevin Owens kicks off the show. He's got his Kevin Owens KO show, brings out the three ladies that are going to be vying for the Raw Women's Championship: Osaka, Nia Jax, Charlotte, Natalya. They had a three-way match scheduled for later in the night: Nia Jax, Charlotte, and Natalya. I thought it was hilarious the way Kevin Owens sat there and listened to Osaka talk, and he was like, "Yeah, whatever she said," because he's like, "Whoa, I'm just going. That was pretty funny. What was your take on that one?
I loved it. I mean, they're really putting Asuka over. She's got a good gimmick going right now. She deserves to be the women's champion because she did give Becky Lynch the hottest competition before Becky became the mom instead of the man. So, I mean, kudos to Asuka. She's doing great. Hopefully, she'll continue to do well.
No, Osaka, it seems like she's not even trying to speak English anymore.
She doesn't need to. That's her gimmick. That's her gimmick now.
It's crazy. All I can only understand one thing when she says Becky, whatever. I mean, but everything else, I'm just going like Kevin Owens, going okay, whatever you just said. But either way, that's a match for later in the night. Nia Jax, Charlotte, Natalya for a three-way. Next up, this was a shocker to me. We were talking about Apollo Crews on the way out. Apparently, he's on the end because he is your new United States champion. What'd you take on that one?
Just what you said. It was no secret. If you read all the dirt sheets and talked to the people, they all thought that he was on McMahon's short list, dog list, if you will, and he proved everyone wrong. So just like the guy said on the Tuesday night show with Booker and Mark Henry, I hope that he doesn't botch this opportunity. I don't think he will because he's the kind of guy that his athletic ability alone is phenomenal, and I think he can take this and run with it. I think he's like one of those. Like remember we talked about when Booker T defeated Jeff Jarrett for the WCW Championship that time, then the infamous Vince Russo shoot at Bash of the Beach that year with Hogan. This is the same thing with Apollo Crews. I mean, he never got a shot. Now he's got the shot, and I got a feeling he'll run with it.
He does. That was a pretty good match. I was kind of shocked when that went to the back and they kind of did the little celebration thing with him. Next up, you had the Iconics out there staking their claim to getting a title match. Their little shoot run in that was pretty entertaining to me. Outcome: Nikki Cross doing her little thing, and then that ultimately turns into a match for later on in the night. I kind of like the Iconics as a female tag team. Been together a while. I wouldn't surprise me if they break them up in some kind of shoot angle. Who knows?
Shawn Michaels, Marty Jannetty. Yeah, say more.
Yep. Next up, you had Drew McIntyre guest on the VIP Lounge. We're not even VIP Lounge quality. I think we're better than VIP Lounge quality. But either way, he's out there, VIP Lounge. Here comes the big man. Who's Lashley right now? Bobby Lashley. Lashley comes out there, and in the process, Drew McIntyre, Claymore kicks MVP, knocks him out of the ring, and then he challenges Lashley to get in the ring. He's going to have nothing of that. What's the MVP statement? No contract, no contact, whatever. Mm-hmm. He had some contact done to him, so that sets up a match for later in the night. MVP is going to tag team with his guy, Bobby Lashley. Next up, you had Angel Garza versus Kevin Owens. Garza gets the win. Not really sure what to make of that. That was a pretty decent match. Kevin Owens has been back. This is his second week back from, I guess, he disappeared after WrestleMania. So he's back. Angel Garza gets the win there. Austin Theory, not Timothy Theory, Austin Theory and Buddy Murphy tag team to take out Aleister Black and Humberto Carrillo. Aleister Black, he's up, he's down. He's in a tag team, he's not in a tag team. I don't know what to make of that. Hopefully he'll hit fire and get going again as the man that he is. Who knows? What do you think?
He's got to find his groove because his real life wife Zelina Vega is doing really well right now with her team as the advisor, if you will, to James A. Dillon, role of the Horseman. So he's just got to find his groove. I think they're trying to find whether he's going to be a singles wrestler, whether he's going to be a tag wrestler. Normally, you have this idea that the tag wrestlers are weaker. Like, for example, when Tully and Orton would fight, you would think that, they were a great tag team, but that was not true because Tully and Orton both individually were tremendous singles wrestlers. And I got a feeling that Aleister Black could be the same thing. I think that feud he is with Murphy right now, or don't call me Bob Murphy, Buddy Murphy, is phenomenal. And I think those guys, they've already had matches before they were off the chart, and I think they can continue to do that.
Yep, that was a pretty good match there. I like the whole Monday Night Messiah, the way he's pulling his little team in together. What was it? Austin Theory was part of Zelina Vega's team for a second.
That's correct. Right? That's correct. And then they ended up kicking him into the curve, and Seth Rollins was right there to pick him up.
Next up on Raw, you had the Edge cutting his backstage promo, just setting that up. What are they calling it? The greatest match ever?
No. It's not the greatest match. It's not the greatest match ever. Well, Randy Savage against Ricky the Dragon Steamboat at WrestleMania. Ricky Steamboat against any of Flair matches. Those are the greatest matches ever, not Edge and Orton. I'm sorry. No disrespect to those guys. They both are quality Hall of Famers. But no, Ricky Steamboat, Flair, Ricky Steamboat, Savage, that were the greatest matches ever.
Yep. Next up, you had the Nia Jax match with Natalya and Charlotte Flair. Nia Jax gets the win there, so it's going to be Nia Jax going on to fight Osaka. I'm guessing that's at Backlash.
Yeah.
Nia Jax probably. Who knows? I mean, but I remember Nia Jax and Osaka used to fight before. They had a little show a couple years back. And Osaka held her own, so Osaka may keep the belt. Who knows? And then next, you said it wasn't the greatest match ever. The Edge and Orton, but Ric Flair. You had Ric Flair making his pick. He says Randy Orton is the man.
He is.
So, woo! Ric Flair, Big Daddy Rick, talking Randy Orton in his corner. And the end of the show, you had MVP and Bobby Lashley getting disqualified against the Street Profits. Main event for Raw. I thought that was kind of weak. But either way, Street Profits, I guess they had to get them back in the limelight. It's hard to believe they're the Raw Tag Team Champions, and you don't really hear too much.
Man, it's so messed up right now, Jack, because you don't know whether or not it's because it's their storyline or whether they're getting booked, maybe they're being held back, which is why a lot of these guys are going to AEW, or it could be because of the pandemic, is there only so many people could be with the social distancing, or hell, it could be a little bit of both of them. So it's really, really hard to try and scratch your head and determine what's the reason why they're being held back like that, if it's even being held back. It all may be storyline. But it's just good to, obviously, the worst thing that could happen to any athlete, hell, musicians too, we're talking Timothy about it. The worst thing that could happen to any entertainer is to not get exposure. When you don't get exposure, it sucks. And that's the whole big thing about it.
Yeah, I'm guessing not only they're not getting exposure, but I would bet, I mean, their salaries are getting cut. They're not selling their memorabilia, their T-shirts and stuff. So it's all a downer for them. So on to the next WWE product of the week. On Wednesday night, you had NXT. Not really worth covering every match that went on there. Their show right now is leading up to their pay-per-view next week. Hard to believe there's an NXT pay-per-view that's going to be on the what network?
WWE Network.
WWE Network for $10 a month.
Yeah.
So their next pay-per-view is called In Your House, NXT TakeOver. Looks to be okay. We'll talk about that card next week, but we do have a rundown of what happened on NXT this week. You had best match of the night. You had Charlotte Flair tag teaming with Chelsea Green. They defeat Rhea Ripley and Io Shirai. Good match there. Looks like you've got a three-way at the pay-per-view next weekend, where Charlotte Flair will defend against Rhea Ripley and Io Shirai. Is that how you say it?
I'm thinking of Sheeta with AEW, man. I'm confused with all these names.
Yeah, I know. But either way, I got you. Is my audio good?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Okay, good. Producer Punk saying maybe. Who knows? He's saying, yep. Okay, we got it. So let's go. Let's go on to the rest of the show. Adam Cole agreeing to a match with the Velveteen Dream. That's a dream match, I guess. That's going to be next weekend at the pay-per-view. And then this one, this angle right here is on speed control because they're going fast, 90-0. Karrion Kross, new to NXT. He gets challenged last week by Tommaso Ciampa. They're going to fight at the next pay-per-view next weekend. So that was a pretty good run-in right there. I like the way that they pitched this thing from the back. Karrion Kross talking from the back. That was pretty cool. I like these guys on NXT. I mean, they got some great talent coming up. We'll talk later about
Ciampa to me looks like Triple H. He looks just like Triple H with a big thick beard, and he's getting a lot of exposure. And I can see him doing really good. I mean, he's already done well. I mean, it's just be a matter of time before he gets called up.
Yeah. And then you had a first ever match, a NXT Fight Pit. Kurt Angle is the guest referee. I guess they're just infusing some stuff from Raw and SmackDown to try to pick up the pace there. So there you've got your Timothy Thatcher. He gets the win over Matt Riddle. I thought, man, when I saw that, Matt Riddle's kind of maybe on his way down or something.
No, he's going to SmackDown.
He's going to SmackDown. So they announced that last night. So what's your take on that one?
Just remember, Jack, anytime, I mean, it happened with anybody, anytime anyone leaves WWE or AEW, whatever the case, and they go to another organization, they're going to have to lose the last match because they want to leave the place better than it was before they left. So it's the same thing like whenever Dean Ambrose, before he became John Moxley in AEW, he lost a lot of matches when before he was winning so many with the Shield. That's to me, and I could be wrong, and if we have any superstars watching our broadcast, I would appreciate the information, but I've always was taught from back in the day, being Haz-Bin, that whenever you're leaving a territory, you always want to leave it better than you did when you first found it. So you do the honor, you do the job, if you will, and lose. So to me, rules-wise, it does not surprise me that he lost like that, even though he lost, and now he's going to go to SmackDown, and it'll be like nothing ever happened.
Yep. So that wrapped your NXT show for the week. Again, Matt Riddle leaving NXT, going over to SmackDown. That ought to be a good little thing. All right. Where we left off, we are all the way to last night's SmackDown. This show starts. What the heck is going on here?
Yeah, this is like a CNN moment or something.
Somebody put out a memo that said, hey, we need to change the course of events going on at SmackDown. What's the best way to do it? Let's have an injury happen right out the gate. Let's have a drunk driver right out the gate. So 2 people in the tournament for the Intercontinental Champion right off the bat are taken out of the mix. Rather than have him lose, you got Elias. He gets injured supposedly in a drunken car wreck with Jeff Hardy. Don't know what to make of that. They definitely pushed it on. So there's your guy. You thought that was Billy Kidman.
Yeah.
It's a thin down Billy Kidman if it is. But either way, that was a pretty fun little, like a little cops type show. Go ahead.
You can see Jamie Noble in the suit.
That's right. I saw him in his little girly voice that he has. That was pretty funny. But either way, that sets up what happens next. You've got all the groups out there talking. Oh, they want into the tournament. People are saying, hey, wait a minute. How can you get in the tournament? You already lost in the tournament. But either way, the big gentleman in the back, who we have no idea who he is. I like to think that I keep up with everything in WWE, but I have no idea who that big guy is right there. But either way, he settles the score. He says there's going to be a battle royal. The winner of the battle royal is going to make it into a match with Daniel Bryan, and then that winner is going to face AJ Styles. AJ Styles wants no part of having another match. He says,
and he shouldn't. He shouldn't. I mean, AJ Styles did the right thing. I mean, these things in life happen, and as much as I admire Daniel Bryan for wanting to do the right thing, and he ended up getting in the match anyway, AJ Styles did the right thing, man. These things happen, and in the wrestling business, and I guarantee Tim would have said this if we would ask him, when you get a break in the wrestling business, you run with it, brother. Because if you don't take advantage of it, you try and tweak it, and it comes back and bites you in the rear, just like AJ said, you're the fool.
Yeah, that was pretty funny when he said, "You are such a fool. I thought you were smart."
He is.
Either way, next up, so Sheamus gets the win in the Battle Royal. He goes on to fight Daniel Bryan. I thought this was a great women's match. Lacey Evans taking on Sonya Deville. That match was going back and forth. Pretty rough, tough match. Sonya Deville calling out the blonde type thing. That match ends up ending in a double count out. So that looks to be a good feud angle right there they have going on. Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss host the New Day in the little moratorium of Moment of Bliss / tag champions. That ends up setting up a match with Alexa Bliss later on against Sasha Banks. Sasha Banks takes out Alexa Bliss in that match.
Wearing tennis shoes at that. That's very impressive. Very impressive.
Yeah, Bailey kind of threw her under the bus and just week after week just says, yeah, you can fight Sasha. Yeah, you can fight Sasha. So sooner or later, that friendship's going to go by the wayside. I'm guessing it's going to be when they fight for the title. Then you had a funny moment on SmackDown. You got to give it. SmackDown does keep it somewhat entertaining. There's your match for next week. Alexa Bliss and Bailey versus.
Next week for the belts.
That ought to be good. Either way, next up you had the Mandy Rose and Otis at the poolside, keeping the comedy real, keeping it going. That was kind of funny. A little excessive PDA going on there that I'm going, hey, that's not necessary, but I guess it just adds to the angle. Either way, and then then they go on to announce that Matt Riddle is coming to. There he is right there coming to SmackDown next week. I'm going to be interested if he's going to continue to wrestle with no shoes on. Barefoot.
Rusev did it for a while until he hurt his feet, and then he started putting the boots on. So I guess we'll have to see.
Yep, we'll see what happens there. The match ends with the Daniel Bryan taking out Sheamus. He gets the win, and then out of the blue, what happens at the end of SmackDown? The drunk man, I guess he got out of jail. He comes back and just abuses Sheamus. So they go off the air. So I guess they killed two birds with one stone. Get those two guys out of the Intercontinental consideration and then let those two feud each other.
Yep.
So, who knows? On to AEW this week. Coming out of their Double or Nothing pay-per-view, we thought we would run down what happened there. You and I watched that together. I think we gave it about a 7 out of 10. It was pretty entertaining.
About a 7.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
About a 7.
So there you go. You got the Elite. They take out the Inner Circle. Moxley takes out Lee to keep his championship and actually get his championship back because Brody Lee had taken it from him. Next one, right there, he wins his title back. He never lost it. Next up, you had Cody. I would have not thought Cody would have won this match, but Cody takes out Lance Archer for the new TNT championship, and there is Mike Tyson to give him the title. Then the AEW Women's Championship, Nyla Rose. We were thinking, so it's about time. Nyla Rose drops her belt to Hikaru Shida. That was a no DQ match here. Hikaru Shida, that match went back and forth. Very good with the kendo stick, breaking the kendo stick, all that kind of stuff. That was good. Then you had the ladder match, casino ladder match. Darby Allin, Cole Cabana, Orange Cassidy, Joey Janela, Scorpio Sky, Kip Sabian, Frankie Kazarian, Luchasaurus, and the mystery opponent was none other than that beast right there. He gets the win, Brian Cage. Brian Cage over from Impact. We were talking earlier, and there's Taz pitching his man. Then you had Shawn Spears. He comes out there thinking he's going to get a wave through because Dustin Rhodes was not there, but Dustin Rhodes shows up, beats up Shawn Spears in his suit, rips him out of his suit. He's down to his underwear.
Yeah, and beyond.
A little bit.
He was doing a little Ric Flair action there with the Gluteus Maximus being shown.
Yeah, Dustin Rhodes gets the win there. Then you have Penelope Ford against Chris Statlander. That was a pretty good women's match. Chris Statlander gets the win there. On to Dynamite this week coming out of that show. I thought it was pretty funny. The show opens up with the Inner Circle doing their showing off their Stadium Stampede show. I missed that one. Go back one right there, Punk. MJF right there gets the win over Jungle Boy. That was a pretty good match. I'm not really sure what's going to go on there because Jungle Boy we'll tell you what happens to him on Dynamite because MJF is winning all the time, but he's not winning anything. So at some point they're going to have to put MJF in the consideration for something. It seems like because he's not losing.
Yeah.
Either way, it's good guy. So Dynamite starts out funny show. They got the quote unquote pep rally with the Inner Circle. They thought they were going to be on the show having just won the match against the Elite, but guess what? They didn't. And the funny thing was you got Santana talking about, we got a whole bunch of shirts in the back in the truck. You know, the winners of the Stampede. Well, they weren't the winners, so I guess the shirts are going to be given away. Who knows? Young Bucks and Matt Hardy, they defeat Private Party and Joey Janela. Pretty decent match there. Next up, Brian Cage with Taz. He makes his debut on Dynamite. And Lee Johnson, I don't know who that is. I looked him up. I could not find anything on him, but it may be good that we can't find anything on him because he was destroyed. Cage just threw him all over the ring and then pinned him with this drill claw move that he has. I haven't heard of that one. Then Hikaru Shida, she defeats Christy James in her first title defense. That was a pretty good match there. Then you had Kip Sabian with Penelope Ford taking on Jimmy Havoc. Good match there. That was a pretty good angle right there. Penelope Ford and Kip Sabian. What'd you think of that one?
Yeah, I mean, that was a good tag match, those guys. They actually won. I was surprised they won that match. But Penelope Ford actually filled in really good because she had to come in when Dr. Baker went down with her injury. She had to come in real fast to take on the world's favorite space alien superstar. So, yeah, they're doing good with that angle.
Yep, that was good. And then you had Jungle Boy. This was the Battle Royal they announced last week. The Battle Royal for the first person that's going to fight Cody Rhodes for the TNT Championship. Jungle Boy gets the win there. So that's next week, TNT Championship.
You know, we talk about it, and you're right. We did watch that show last week together, and I told you when we were watching it at that particular point in the program in the pay-per-view, I thought that last week I am wrong, and I will eat my crow right now. I will eat my crow because I thought that MJF and Jungle Boy was going to be the yawner of the night where you normally go get your drinks or go to the restroom break. That was probably one of the best matches of the night, and so I think Jungle Boy earned that right to get the TNT shot against Cody.
Hey, Producer Pump, I know you don't keep up with this stuff too much, but give me a guess. Who do you think Jungle Boy is related to? Who is Jungle Boy's famous father? Just go like this if you have no idea. Jungle Boy's famous father. I'll give you a hint. 90210. Who is the heartthrob on 90210? Luke Perry. There he is right there. Can you believe that? Jungle Boy right there is Luke Perry's son. How you like that for trivia? Either way, he's getting a push, so he's going to be fighting Cody next week for that new TNT Championship. And then the show this week ends with Vicky Guerrero and a bunch of cheerleaders out there, you know, talking all the smack that, you know, Inner Circle, doing all this and that. Jericho comes out there, and he's wanting an apology from Mike Tyson for something he had done to him years ago. The two of them get into it. Mike Tyson sporting his AEW T-shirt, similar to yours, Haz-Bin.
Same one.
There. And then we commented on this earlier. It's just a straight copy of the WWE story with Stone Cold and Mike Tyson. But hey, I thought Mike Tyson was just around for the pay-per-view, but it looks like he may be sticking around for a couple more shows. But the one point I want to bring up that's kind of weird, and I wonder what WWE's thinking about it, because WWE is in ESPN's back pocket. If you go to ESPN.com, you'll see all the news of baseball, sports, and all that kind of stuff. But they have their WWE section. This week on the headline, you had AEW on the front page of ESPN with Mike Tyson. So, kudos to AEW for doing what they're doing, because they wanted to get their plug on ESPN, and they knew you got Mike Tyson doing things. You're going to show up on ESPN.
Yeah, and same thing. Reason why they had Gronk win the 24/7 title at WrestleMania. Same stuff.
Yep. That's another thing. So I guess that Gronk is still in the storyline there with R-Truth. We'll see what happens with that. On to the indies. We always cover the indies. We'll quickly hit these real quick. ECPW, we're following them all, trying to find out when they're going to have some actions, when they're going to have some matches, small, limited, whatever. We're looking for anything that we can plug for these people. Right now, nobody that we follow, ECPW, Wrestling 225, or Wildcat Wrestling, actually has a show scheduled, but ECPW is putting out weekly videos. They have their weekly shows that show up on Facebook up there that you can watch it at any time. This week, they posted a new video that had somebody we talked about earlier, Greg the Hammer Valentine and Jimmy Hart as his manager took on some independents. That was a pretty good match also. Again, you can watch it on their Facebook page. On to Wrestling 225, they had the Mayor's Cup that they've kind of abandoned, trying to push that because they don't know what they don't know. So the next thing actually on the schedule for Wrestling 225 is the 225 Mania. You can find out more information on that on their Facebook page and buy tickets for that at Eventbrite. Again, they're posting videos just like ECPW. The video they post this week for Wrestling 225, they put a Bash at the Bayou 2019. How you like that little play on words for them? Bash at the Beach.
I like it.
Bash at the Bayou 2019. They got that video playing on their Facebook page. On to Wildcat Wrestling. We've been talking about for a couple weeks about their X-rated show. It looks like they pulled that information down because they're not 100% confident they'll be able to have that show at the end of June because it's coming up too quick. So right now there's no new shows planned for Wildcat Live yet, but we're watching them weekly, following them weekly. Right now on Wildcat, if you're looking to get into wrestling, Wildcat has a school. They're offering discounts. $1,000. Got to be choked up because I want to become a wrestler. So they're offering $1,000 off. They said they're going to get back to working out next Tuesday, June the 2nd. So if you want to get into wrestling, they can hook you up, the Wildcat School. Also, Wildcat has their weekly show on WUPL on 54. There's the gang at Wildcat. Those are all the guys you'll work with. They're telling you right now, they're posting out there their facility has been cleaned, sterilized, they're ready to roll. Also on their Facebook page, they have a rundown of previous Wildcat heavyweight champions. If you look at that, it's a who's who. You'll be surprised on there. The one that shocked me the most, and I remember him being down there for such a short period of time, Harlem Heat, not Booker T, but who's the man? Not Booker T and Harlem Heat, but what? Stevie Ray was a one-time Wildcat heavyweight champion. Either way. So, again, good information on all these independents Facebook page. So, word to the wise with all the independents. Keep your Facebook pages active. Put out content. Put out pictures. People will come back and check it. WUPL, My 54. That's where you can catch the Wildcat Wrestling. I think it plays at 11 o'clock on Saturday night. That's tonight. And then they replay it Sunday night, sometime around midnight. Who's up at midnight on a Sunday? Who knows? Either way, any final words, Haz-Bin?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and do our Players of the Game segment, going back to my radio days. The Players of the Game segment for this week is brought to you by Nissan, innovation on display. My Raw Player of the Game is going to be Apollo Crews, the brand new champion. Congratulations to him. My SmackDown Player of the Game is Jeff Hardy, even though Mr. McMahon continues to like to make fun of people's real-life personal issues, such as Jake Roberts with alcoholism, Real Warrior Hawk with alcoholism, Jeff Hardy with alcoholism. Jeff got over. He's going to have a big feud with Sheamus. Really good thing. And my AEW Player of the Game is none other than Dr. Britt Baker. Her promo Wednesday was phenomenal. This woman, regardless of who she's engaged to or married to, aka Adam Cole, does not matter. The woman is on fire. Those are my 3 players of the game, brought to you in part by Nissan. Innovation on display.
We're going to have a sponsor for the players of the game starting next week. How you like that? Next week, we have new sponsor for players of the game. We're going to be calling a player of the game from Raw.
SmackDown.
Player of the game from NXT. That's going to be kind of hard, huh?
We can do one.
Okay, NXT, and then we'll do a player of the game for SmackDown, and then, of course, a player of the game for AEW. And then we're going to tease the independents. If we have the independent show coming up, we're going to say, hey, they are truly the player of the game for getting back going after this Corona stuff. So either way.
Sounds good.
I'm Jack Jaw. This has been the Ringside Wrangler Wrestling Report. Check you out next week. We'll have our show. Next week's show is going to be on Sunday. And what we're going to do is we're just going to do like we normally do, run down the news, and, hey, announce our new sponsored players of the game. Talk to you later, Haz-Bin.
See you later, brother.